Thank you, Alan. Thanks you guys for all of the information there. I hope that our audience is really appreciating the federal guideline and the specific FDOT criteria for this. Do know that this webinar will be able to be downloaded. There is a handout pod, and there are also web links to a lot of the information that were provided. I've got one more section to go over here, the guide for improving pedestrian safety at uncontrolled crossing locations. It's a quick couple of slides on some guidelines that FHWA provides. We're going to do our Q&A following that and then some closing remarks. So if you have any questions, this is your time to warm up your fingers, and please type them into the Q&A pod so that we can have a lively discussion here with our nearly 100 attendees that are watching our webinar. So the guidelines for improving pedestrian safety, FHWA does provide some information for everyone. If you're relatively new to this, there's a hyperlink here, and it's just suggested process for selecting the countermeasures. The overview of the process, more or less, is you collect your data, you prioritize your locations, you analyze your safety issues, you select your countermeasures, you install, you design, and go through the process of getting it implemented, and then you identify opportunities and monitor and kind of evaluate the process. So it's an ongoing. It really could be set up in a loop rather than a line going down the process. My favorite thing that is in the guidelines, and if this is a little bit smaller to read on your screen, I'll kind of go through what it is. It's effectively a prompt list. If you're familiar with the road safety audit prompt list, it's a matrix of countermeasures based on specific criteria. Across the top, we have ADT, less than 9,000, 9,000 to 15,000, and greater than 15,000. And below that, the green categories are less than 30 miles per hour, 35 miles per hour in yellow, and the orange is greater than 40 miles per hour. The rows across the left are the roadway configuration: 2-lane, 3-lane, 3-lane with or without raised median, 4 lanes with or without raised medians. The way you use this is to kind of match up and find the box that matches the roadway that you're at. For example, if we're at a location that has a 35 mile per hour speed limit with 12,000 ADT, that puts us right in the center yellow column. And if we're looking at a roadway with 3 lanes that has a raised median, and it's a 2-way street, 1 lane in each direction with a raised median, it puts us in that center box that has the 5 that are highlighted. The countermeasure matrix here recommends countermeasures 1, 3, 5, 7, and 9. These correspond more or less to the spectacular 7 plus an additional couple of ones. Those will be your high cross visibility crosswalks, your advanced yield here, stop for pedestrians, your curb extensions, your rectangular rapid flashing beacons, and your pedestrian hybrid beacons. There is some more, the ones that are the number 5, because it doesn't have anything around it. That's just sort of like something that should be considered at the intersection. The ones that are highlighted in black, 3, 7, and 9, are things that should always be considered at these types of locations. And the one that has the regular circle around it are things that should be considered at these locations, but only in conjunction with other things. They're not to be done by themselves. In this example, that will be the high visibility crosswalk marking. So you don't just mark a crosswalk without having the signs, without having the advanced stop signs, without having the curb extensions and all the other things that it recommends as well. So before you go out into the field, if you're doing a safety study or to take this out with you and figure out where you should be, and this gives you an idea before you know anything about it, what you should do at those locations. This is just a matrix that if you follow the columns and the rows, it takes you to a specific block that recommends countermeasures for each of the spectacular 7 countermeasures, and an additional couple follow the legend there that lets you know like there are some countermeasures that should always be recommended at a particular location. There's some that should be recommended in conjunction with others, and some that are just kind of like they can be done by themselves at those locations. And this is based on the volume, based on the speed, and based on the type of roadway. So it's my favorite of the resources that FHWA provides for these locations.